The objectives of the bill are well laid, and I'm sure my colleagues will look at the objectives of the bill that are from numbers 1 to number 10. Colleagues can read all the procedures for the public hearing were done, and this is a summary. The committee, in its markup sessions, carried out extensive clause-by-clause analysis of the provisions of the bill in line with the contributions made by stakeholders in the course of the public hearing. The committee also carried out editorial corrections and the draft, as well as provide some new clauses to ensure that the bill is enriched enough to encompass adequate provisions to address the issues contemplated by the proposed bill. It is also imperative to state that the provisions of the informal
sector. Summarize just summarize.
Yes, sir. So
go to the recommendation.
Okay. I will go to the recommendations. The findings are all here for us to see. The Senate Committee on Employment, Labor and Productivity, to which this bill was referred, having thoroughly considered the bill, hereby recommends that the Senate do consider and pass the Informal Sector Employment Regulation Bill 2025 as amended. And in conclusion, on behalf of members of the committee, I wish to respectfully use this medium to thank Mr. President of the Senate and my distinguished colleagues for the opportunity to serve in this capacity. And thank you all for allowing us lay. And I'm sure that you will, when you go over it, you will find out that this bill is a necessity for us to have a law that will protect the employer and the employees that are informally done and are large in number. I thank you for this opportunity.
Chief, can you move forward so that we go to the committee of whole to consider
of his contribution and part and parcel of all the deliberations. The philosophical cornerstone behind this bill, or what this bill essentially seeks to achieve, is to regulate the employment and conditions of service of domestic workers, which hitherto has been left unregulated and therefore subject to abuse by various employers. So what this bill seeks to achieve is to regulate that sector so that domestic workers will get the best of conditions in their workplace. Thank you.
Leader, please move for us to resume to the committee of whole to consider report.
Mr. President, I stand to move a motion that we'll dissolve into committee of whole to consider the report. I so move.
Minority Leader. Documentation and Protection of Domestic Workers and Employees Bill 2025, SB 272 and SB 2629. Those in favor that clauses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all stand parts of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, the clauses, there are clauses. It's a bill. Is a bill. The recommendation, no, is a bill. You don't have the copy of the bill? No, no recommendation, it's bill. No, leave that one. That's just the report. But the bill is there. There are two, yes. There's the bill. Give him the copy of the bill. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 25. All stand pass of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the interpretation on clause 24, page 23, short title, clause 25, page 27. Nay. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 26, we are going past that, but let me give you the opportunity. No problem. Go ahead.
Definition of nanny is referring to a human being and say it. I just want to.
If you look at it, take note.
The chairman, I stand to move a motion that we revert back to plenary for Mr. President to report progress.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, that is going to the motion move that the Senate revert back to plenary for the chair to report progress. Also second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Employment, Labor and Productivity on the Documentation and Protection of Domestic Workers and Employees Bill 2025. Number of clauses are recommended. Interpretation, clause 24 are recommended. Short title, clause 25 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Long time as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I stand to move a motion that the Informal Sector Employment Regulation Bill 2025 be now read the third time.
Minority Leader. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to regulate, protect, and formalize the employment of domestic workers, apprenticeship, interns, and other informal sector employees in Nigeria and for other related matters, 2025, SBs 272 and 629. Third reading.
A bill for an act to regulate, protect, and formalize the employment of domestic workers, apprenticeships, interns, and other informal sector employees in Nigeria and for other related matters 2025 authority taken and passed. The Leader of the Senate. Well, let me commend the Committee on Labor, ably led by an experienced senator, Senator Dickett Plank, a ranking senator, members of the committee, for a job well done. You're doing very well, and please continue to work hard for the service of your fatherland. The Senate is proud of you. Thank you very much.
The third order of the day is
Leader,
the second reading.
Plank, I say you are ranking. Because your ranking is more than that of Antonio Corey. Yes. Yes, you are a ranking senator.
Of National Eye Center, Boko, Benue State, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 506. The distinguished senator will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Tuesday, 9th July 2025. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Titus Zam Tatenga to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Senator Dr. Zhang.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Dr. Titus Tatengezam. I represent the very dynamic people of Benue Northwest Senatorial District. Mr. President, with your approval, may I proceed to read the lead debate?
You can go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to lead a debate on a bill for an act to establish the National Eye Center, Boko, in Benue State, and for related matters. This bill seeks to establish a federal training and research in ophthalmology and vision sciences. The proposed National Eye Center, Boko, will complement the existing National Eye Center in Kaduna, which was established over 40 years ago to serve the entire northern Nigeria. However, with Nigeria's current population exceeding 250 million people and the rising incidences of eye-related diseases, one National Eye Center is grossly inadequate in the region. According to data from the World Health Organization, WHO, and Nigeria's Federal Ministry of Health, more than 4.25 million Nigerians suffer from moderate to severe vision impairment, while about 1.1 million people are blind. Over 80% of these cases are preventable or treatable if diagnosed early and managed by trained eye care professionals. Distinguished colleagues, Benue State and much of the North Central region are heavily underserved in terms of tertiary eye care services. Most patients have to travel long distances to Kaduna or even outside the country for specialist eye treatment. This situation is both costly and risky, especially for rural dwellers and elderly citizens. Boko, being centrally located within Benue State and easily accessible from neighboring states of Nasarawa, Taraba, Kogi, and Cross River, provides a strategic location for such a federal institution. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this bill therefore seeks to 1. Train ophthalmologists, optometrists, and allied professionals to address the growing shortage of qualified eye care professionals. And 3. Promote research and innovation in the prevention and treatment of eye diseases. The establishment of the center will reduce medical tourism, capital flight associated with surgeries abroad, create direct and indirect employment opportunities for medical personnel, researchers, and support staff, and boost healthcare infrastructure in Benue State and North Central region as a whole. In conclusion, therefore, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the establishment of the National Eye Center, Boko, is a timely and necessary intervention in our national healthcare system. It will bring specialized medical services closer to the people, save lives, and strengthen our nation's capacity to combat preventable blindness. I therefore humbly urge my distinguished colleagues to lend their wholesome support to this bill for second reading and its eventual passage into law. Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, for giving me this privilege to speak for my people. Thank you so very much.
Senator Victor, you have 2 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise in line with my continued support for bills that support education and health care delivery in Nigeria. I rise to support this bill and the need to provide special care for eye. Eye is a very delicate organ, and if we don't have facilities where citizens can access eye care in Nigeria, other diseases in the eye that need to be taken care of urgently. Delay is very dangerous on this matter. So we need facilities that are very close to the citizens, where people can go and prevent blindness. So I support this, and I know the next report is on the same issue on this other paper, eye blindness. So I support this eye care center for Boko in Benue State. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Those in favor that this bill will be now read the second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk will send it.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the National Eye Center Boko, Benue State, to provide comprehensive eye care services, training, and the research in ophthalmology and other vision related to discipline and for other related matters 2025 SB 506. Second reading.
A bill for an act to establish National Eye Center Boko, Benue State, to provide comprehensive eye care services, training and research in ophthalmology and other vision-related disciplines and for other related matters 2025 SB 506. Second reading taken. The bill is referred to the Committee on Health. It is a bill, the healthcare delivery system of our country. The more the merrier, so that the medical tourism that we currently embark on will stop. This is exactly what we want, to get that stopped, because a lot of money is being spent in executing these trips to go overseas to seek medical attention, whereas we have all it takes: the human resources, every resources needed to make sure that we have this kind of healthcare delivery facilities available in our country. Thank you very much for this wonderful intervention. The Leader of Senate.
Mr. President, the fourth order, very similar to the third order, is the second reading of National Eye Center, Ponshit, Mangu, in Plateau State, Establishment Bill 2025 SB 485. The distinguished senator will recall that the bill was read the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 24th July 2025. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Tekeplan to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Why I will yield the ground for you to move the motion. Don't adopt what he said. It's all the same thing. And then we go ahead, so we don't waste time. They're all the same thing. So move your motion and adopt what he said. And that you want this institution, located at Mangu. That's okay.
Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate, my distinguished colleagues. I am Senator Tekeplan. I represent Plateau Central. Thank you for the opportunity given to me to rise up again and raise a motion for the Senate to allow my bill to undergo a second reading. As earlier said, my bill is the same thing with the bill read by my brother for a medical center in Boko. Mine is for the establishment of a medical eye center in Mangu, Plateau State. And all the objectives and all the reasons for the establishment of myself are also concluded by giving to us, by concluded this way, that accordingly, in accordance with Order 76, subsection 2 of the Senate Standing Rules as amended, I have attached here with details of the financial implications for the bill for the general information of the distinguished senators. With every sense of humility, my distinguished colleagues, I urge you all to unreservedly support this bill for a second reading. I therefore move. Thank you so much.
Those in favor that this bill be now read the second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk will send it. Sorry, the committee
did an institutional framework for the provision of specialist care in the diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of eye conditions and diseases by providing a comprehensive range of services ranging from routine eye examination to surgeries, general ophthalmological care for related matters 2025 SB 485, second reading.
A bill for NAT establish treatment and prevention of eye surgeries, general ophthalmological care, and related matters 2020. I commend Senator Dike Plan for this wonderful intervention, which will help in strengthening the healthcare delivery system of Plateau State and indeed the entire, not only the North Central Peninsula, eventually. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the fifth order of the day, I will move a motion that fifth day is not around. So I therefore move a motion that it should be stepped down for another legislative day. I so move.
The Managing Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I like to second the motion as moved by Senate Leader that item 5 is stepped down and moved to item 6.
Leader of the Senate.
The sixth order of the day is the second reading of Primary Health Care Development Agency Act, repeal and reenact Bill 2025 SB 900. The esteemed senator will recall that the bill was read the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 24 July 2025. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Olamilekan Adeola Solomon to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Chairman, Committee on Appropriations and Income, inshallah, you have the floor to present your motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Distinguished colleague, Adeola Solomon Olamilekan, representing Ogun West Senatorial District, giving me this opportunity, law of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004. Mr. President, this 2020-25 to provide for a comprehensive framework for the delivery of quality, equitable, and accessible primary healthcare services for other related matter, SB 900. Mr. President, very distinguished colleague, you will quite agree with me that since 2004, when this bill was first enacted, nothing, no amendment or no anything has been done to the country, and how many of such are being put to use at our various ward and local government, and how effective are they in terms of the workforce in the primary health care across the nation. Of recent, the federal government of Nigeria released the sum of 32 billion to the primary health care institution across the country. Who manages this fund? How effective have we put this fund to use? Because the primary health care happens to be the first health services that should be available to every citizen of this country at the ward level and at the local government level. And the federal government have put so much into the infrastructure of primary health care across this country. And since 2004, no amendment is being proposed to amend or to correct all the deficiency we have in the act as it currently were. And it is on this note that I'm coming up with this lead debate to reenact
the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency Act, Cap 169 of 2004. So, Mr. President, the bill, among other things, seeks to repeal the existing National Primary Healthcare Development Agency Act and enact a more comprehensive legal framework that contemplates efficient coordination, accountability, and effectiveness in the Nigeria primary healthcare system. You will agree with me, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, that the primary healthcare remains the foundation of every functional healthcare system in any country, as it is the closest form of health services available to the people, being the first point of contact for preventive, promotive, and basic curative health services is the primary health care. However, despite the existence of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency since the early 1990s, and in spite of its statutory mandate, the framework guiding its operation has become outdated, disjointed, and inadequate to respond to present-day health challenges and realities. This is in the view of the fact that the current law neither captures the new realities of the universal health coverage and digital health integration, nor lies accountable and community-led primary healthcare system envisaged under the National Health Act 2014. Accordingly, the bill proposed has been designed and structured to ensure that all these gaps are addressed substantially. The objectives of the bill. The preponderant objective of this bill are to: 1, reposition the agency as a driver of universal access to primary healthcare system. 2, provide for a clear governance structure and performance-based management. 3, promote community participation through World Health communities, and local partnership. 4, enhance coordination between federal, state, and local government in healthcare service delivery. 5, facilitate integration of technology, data system, and health researches in primary health care. And 6, ensure a sustainable financing of primary health care through innovative funding mechanism. Justification for the repeal and reenactment of this act. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, as stated earlier, the existing act no longer align with contemporary realities, as its provisions are now obsolete and weak in defining the agency powers, accountability, framework, and intergovernmental collaboration mechanism. Therefore, a simple amendment will not suffice. Hence, the need for a holistic repeal and reenactment in order to consolidate and streamline the provision of extant act in line with the modern reality through strengthening of the institutional structure and establishment of a clear-cut responsibility from the national to the community level. The proposed bill provides a new legal foundation that reflects and encompasses modern health sector reform, global best practices, and Nigerian commitment under the Sustainable Development Goal, SDG. Conclusion, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, health is fundamental human right and the backbone of any national development. Without a functional and a well-coordinated primary healthcare system, no nation can achieve equitable growth or human capital development. As such, this bill is not just among restructuring an agency, but also a deliberate legislative effort to bring health closer to every Nigerian, particularly the less privileged, women and children who bear their highest disease burden. It is also about strengthening our resilience against outbreak and ensuring that no community is left behind. On this note, I therefore urge my distinguished colleague to lend their full support to this bill and allow it to scale through the second reading so that we can revamp the primary healthcare system in the country. Finally, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, in compliance with Order 76.3 of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended, the passage of this proposed bill
will not impose any financial obligation on the treasury of the federal government, as the agency is already an existing statutory body in the country, which is not being established for the first time. Once again, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I thank you for listening. I so submit.
Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, my very distinguished colleagues. My name is Kamarudin Olalere Oyewumi, Senator representing Osun West Central District of Osun State. Mr. President, I like to second this bill that will be read second time. But while seconding it, Mr. President, I wanted to lend my voice, because any bill or any act that will strengthen the health care development agency, particularly primary health care, deserve the attention of not only this August Senate, but every Nigerian. Because primary health care development agency is very key and concerned the downtrodden across all the nook and crannies of the country. And this deserves the attention of the government agencies. And the law governing it must be in tandem with the modern realities, which is encaptured in this new bill. I therefore want to support it wholeheartedly and urge our colleagues to give it expeditious passage so that it can quickly meet the real intention of moving the health to the doorstep of every Nigerian. I support, Mr. President.
Senator Abdul Ningi.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Abdul Ningi, and I represent Bauchi Central of Bauchi State. Mr. President, let me commend Senator Adiola Solomon for bringing to our attention, as a parliament representative of Nigeria, that health should be in the front banner of any administration. Mr. President, since the beginning of this democracy, the governments, successive governments, have not seen fit to bring health and the provision of health facilities closer to Nigerians. Mr. President, you recall in 2020, there was this Abuja declaration by all African countries that they proposed a 15% emolument for health in all African countries' national budget. Mr. President, 5 years down the line, if you look at the budget of Nigeria and look at the percentage, 1% of the national budget, because of the budget gap funding, there is tax reform, tax bill, there is infrastructure bill, there is security fund, infrastructural fund, science and technology fund, but there has never been a time when there is anything health fund. So this bill calls our attention to the fact that health, Mr. President, is well. And looking at the cranny of the country, one state after the other, everywhere you go, you find dilapidation of the health infrastructure all across the 36 states, and Abuja in particular. So it is important that once a bill comes with the issue of health, it requires no further conversation. It requires no further convincing that this is a bill that comes at the appropriate time. So I move that this August chamber do contribute to the debate and of course allow the bill to go for a second reading for further legislative activities. I so support.
Not overflogged. This is not direct. We go direct. Is anybody opposed to the bill? Those in favor that this bill be read second time, please say aye. Aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to repeal the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency Act and to enact the National Primary Healthcare Development Bill 2025 to provide for a comprehensive framework for the delivery of quality, equitable, and accessible primary healthcare service, to strengthen community-based health system, promote universal health coverage, and for related matters 2025 SB 900 second reading.
A bill for an act to repeal the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency Act and to enact the National Primary Healthcare Development Bill 2025 to provide for a comprehensive framework for the delivery of quality, equitable, and accessible primary healthcare services, to strengthen community-based health systems, promote universal health coverage, and for related matters 2025 second reading taken. The bill is referred to the Committee on Health, Primary Healthcare, and Communicable Disease to report back within 4 weeks. Let me commend the sponsor of the bill, the Chairman Committee on Appropriations, for his intervention. This will go further to strengthen our primary healthcare delivery system in our country when passed into law. It's something that is directed to the grassroots and is quite welcome. The intervention is germane and we welcome the intervention. Thank you very much. Sorry. Leader of Senate.
Mr. President, I will want to revisit our earlier motion on stepping down of the 6th order. And I will want to move a motion that we allow the 5th order of the day to be read by Oji Uzo Kalu in the absence of Senator Sonny Musa. I so move.
Go ahead.
Okay.
No, you don't this. Okay. Okay.
Mr. President, the motion is seconded as moved. Thank you.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it.
Mr. President, the 5th order of the day is the second reading of priority-based national budgeting system. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Oji Uzo Kalu to stand in for Senator Musa Mohammed to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Senator Oji Kalu, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand to move that that a bill for an act to establish a performance and priority-based budgeting system for the Federal Republic of Nigeria to ensure efficiency, accountability, and alignment of budgetary allocations within national development priorities and for related matters. I so move, Mr. President. Should I continue? Thank you, Mr. President. I stand on behalf of my brother and colleague, Senator Sani Mohammed Musa. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to lead the debate for the act of establishing performance and priority-based budgeting system for Federal Republic of Nigeria 2025 and related matters. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this bill seeks to provide a legal and institutional funding directly to measuring results and national priorities. For too long, Nigeria's budgeting process has been criticized by the repetitive line items, weak performance measurement. Budgets were prepared without corresponding performance and outcomes and real development impact. Objective of the bill. The objective of these bills are to ensure every naira spent by government is tied to measurable result, output, and outcomes. To establish a transparent and accountable budgeting framework that prioritizes national development goals and eliminate waste. To promote fiscal discipline, evidence based on decision making in allocation and utilization of public funds. To ensure citizens' confidence in budgeting and public finance management stable development goals. Key provisions. Mr. President, the distinguished colleagues, the bill provides, among other things, following. They establish a performance and priority-based budgeting system to guide the preparation, approval, implementation, and evaluation of federal budget. Institutional rules of the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning and the Budget Office of Federation in developing performance indicators and ranking budget proposals. Obligations of all ministries, departments, agencies to prepare their budget in line with measurable performance targets and to report quarterly on results achieved. 4. Generation of a National Budget Performance Review Committee chaired by Minister of Budget and Planning to elevate the outcomes and make policy recommendations to government. Annual publication of budget performance reports ensuring transparency, accountability, public access to fiscal data. Rationale for the bill. Distinguished Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the essence of governance is service delivery, and service delivery depends on how effectively public funds are managed. A budget that is not driven by result becomes exercise in paperwork rather than an instrument of national transformation. Countries such as Malaysia, South Korea, Rwanda, Kenya have successfully adopted performance-based budgeting models, resulting in improved accountability, measurable impact, and effective resource utilization. Nigeria cannot continue to operate a budgeting system that rewards expenditure over outcomes. The current framework does not sufficiently measure performance or publish non-performance. This bill seeks to correct the fundamental flaw. By introducing this law, Nigeria will institutionalize result-oriented budgeting, where MDAs are funded not mainly for existence but for delivering tangible results in line with national priorities. If passed and implemented, this bill will enhance transparency and value for money in public expenditure, strengthen the budget credibility and fiscal sustainability, further better coordination between planning and budgeting functions, encourage competition and innovation among MDAs to achieve results, rebuild public trust in government institutions. Conclusion, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, This bill is both timely and necessary. It will lay a solid legislative foundation for a modern, accountable, and efficient budgeting process, one that transforms the budget from mere annual ritual into a genuine tool for national development. I therefore, Mr. President, urge my colleagues to support this bill and allow it to be read the second time so that together we can institutionalize a budgeting culture and reward performance and enhance accountability and ensure that public funds are truly serve the people of Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me this opportunity and sitting on behalf of my brother, Senator Mohammed Sani Musa of Niger State. Thank you, Mr. President.
So, yeah, you then the Chief Whip. So, Chief Whip, he has been raised himself.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Once again, Adeola Solomon Olamilekan, representing Ogun West Senatorial District in the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. President, let me start by thanking up with this bill. But Mr. President, I want to draw the attention of this Senate to some very salient issues which I believe that we can all look into before going further on this bill. Number one, Mr. President, one fixed method of budgeting system, and there are so many different budgeting systems that we have. We have the zero-based budget system, we have the envelope-based budget system, which we are currently using, and also the performance-based budgeting system, which my brother is proposing. And for all of other systems, we have no law or bill in place that says this is the kind of budgeting system we should use. And as such, trying to introduce this now is to put the executive than this that he has proposed. And I would like, as a kind of observation, that this bill will give it a second look to reconsider and do more work before we go ahead and pass. Again, I would have expected this bill to give more power to the National Assembly Budget Research Office, NABRO, because by empowering NABRO, all the objective, all the intentions, all what the bills tend to achieve, we will have given NABRO the opportunity to be able to capture these so that we can measure the performances of our budget year in, year out, independent of the executive. But these bills have decided to be silent on it. So, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, my observation or my own suggestion, because this is a bill that I believe a lot of work has been put into it, but what this bill tends to achieve is that out of the numerous budgeting system that we use in preparation of budget that the executive will have option to present, this bill is saying that we should only, by passing this into law, to use only this system, which it terms the performance-based budgeting system. Don't forget, we have the zero-based budgeting system, we have the envelope-based budgeting system, and today as we speak, what we are using is the envelope-based budgeting, is the envelope budgeting that we are using, which is as a result of availability of fund. So, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I want to say that this bill, we should give it a second thought by allowing us to work more on the bill so that we can come up with a bill that budgeting system to be used of. But sir, I believe. Thank you.
Chief Whip.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohammed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno Senatorial District. Mr. President, the power of appropriation or the power of the force is vested in the National Assembly. And the National Assembly is the repository of the representative, because we are the ones that are closer to the people and we feel the feelings of the people. Against this backdrop, Mr. President, as it is now, our budgeting system that we are practicing now, the envelope system as referred to by my chairman, is a budgeting system in which we seem to be pound foolish and penny wise, in the sense that that budgeting system that we are operating now, of which, irrespective of our national priorities, allocate funds to all MDAs across the board. What this budgeting system seeks to achieve is to prioritize our national needs so that our budgeting system will be in consonance with the need to spread money thinly, and at the end of the day, we don't get the expected positive impact on the lives of the people, just as I said earlier, on being penny wise and pound foolish. Mr. President, I also agree with my chairman that we should give the necessary budget very well, because it's our own institution agency that will determine the priority and the needs of the people. So, Mr. President, distinguished senators, based on this argument, I support the second reading of this bill. The nitty-gritty involved in the bill will be sorted out. Thank you.
Something. He wants to draw attention to something. The sponsor, sorry. Or the representative of the sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, I plead to step down this bill for further legislative confirmations.
Thank you very much. You
sorry.
see, that is the importance about legislature very well. So when you have this kind of situation, because we have a government that is embarking on reforms, who is doing his bid, who is doing very well to make sure that we reform our systems, and bringing up something like this, I think, as said by others, will kind of tighten the hands of Mr. President. Even though the intentions are good, but the effects of the bill may not be palatable. So it's very good that we go back to the second. He wants to second it, step it down. A seconder, please.
Organizing me, which colleagues, I remain Senator Ahmed Wadada Aliyu Sarkin Yakin Kefi Magajin, then the representative of the sponsor of this bill, to withdraw the bill for future consideration. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The leader of the Senate.
Alasan. Baka yi abun jiya ba? Jiya? No, not in the chamber.
The seventh order of the day is a motion standing in the name of His Excellency, Most Distinguished Senator Simon Paco Lalong, and two others, on the delineation exercise embarked upon by the Independent National Electoral Commission in Warri, Federal Constituency, Delta State. Need for urgent intervention to prevent imminent political crisis. Mr. President, you may wish to invite His Excellency Most Distinguished Senator Simon Bako Lalong to move the motion.
Senator Bako Lalong, you have.
Thank you, Mr. President. Simon Lalong, representing the good people of Plateau South. I rise to move the motion standing in my name on the order paper. He's waiting for it. I move already, Mr. President.
Seconder.
Okay, seconder.
Senator Wadada Aliu, can you second?
Sadiq. Seconder, they are calling seconder.
Oh, okay.
Sadiq
Umar, second.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues. I am Sadiq Suleiman Umar. I represent Kwara now. I rise to second the motion. A delineation exercise a bag of force to prevent imminent political crisis. I so second, Mr. President.
Senator Joel Thomas. Look, you have not even read the motion. You ought to have read the motion before you second even. No, see, before you do is.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this guidance. And once again, this motion has to do with the delineation exercise embarked upon by the Independent National Electoral Commission in Warri, Federal Constituency of Delta State, and the need for urgent intervention to prevent imminent political crisis. The Senate notes from a petition emanating from the Isekiri ethnic nationality forwarded to the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters the allegation bordering on unjust treatment undertaken by the Independent National Electoral Commission in Warri Federal Constituency of Delta State. Also note that in the alleged delineation exercise, two communities, Baramatu and Oporoza, which hitherto had 1 ward each, have been increased to 8 wards out of 19 created in Warri Southwest. However, the Isekiri community, which had 6 wards previously, had been reduced to 5 wards in the same local government area, a situation which has raised a fundamental question and deep apprehension regarding the high level of injustice and unfair treatment as alleged by the petitioners. Further note from the petitioners that the INEC report of 4th April 2025 does not accurately reflect the realities on ground in the 3 local government areas within Warri Federal Constituency as captured by the INEC field officers. And this has stimulated myriad of reactions even from the Ijo community of Ogwejo and some Orobo groups who have raised concern over the malevolent discrepancies occasioned by the exercise, and aware that the mandate of INEC as enshrined in the 3rd schedule, part 1F, to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, is primarily geared towards facilitating the conduct of smooth, efficient, and credible elections across the country. As such, its roles are administrative and operational within the context of elections alleged by the petitioners. Note, from the records allegedly made available by the petitioners, were sourced that substantial number of communities are not within the geographical confines of Delta states, as the coordinates allegedly show that some of the communities are in Edo and Ondo states. This situation prompted the Ijos of Ogwejo to register their protests, which were earlier published in 2 national dailies describing the entire exercise as fraudulent. Also note from the petitioner's allegation that procedural irregularities statutory breaches, and non-compliance with judicial directives were perpetrated by INEC. They also allege that INEC refused to obey the interlocutory injunction in Warri South Local Government in 1997 and the substantive judgment which was awarded in favor of Ishekiris against INEC in 2003. Further note, as alleged by the petitioners, that the delineation of Warri Federal Constituency is completely at variance with the spirit and the intent of subsisting judgment of the Supreme Court, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, and the guidelines and manuals of INEC on its mandate with regards to fresh delineation of what registration areas and polling units in the Warri Federal Constituency. And this, the petitioners said, questions the neutrality and the independent posture of INEC in the aforementioned exercise. Conflicts erupted between the Ijos, the Ishekiris, and Orobos between 1997 to 1998 to, as a matter of urgency, intervene in order to avert imminent political crisis and to ensure that all anomalies are addressed before the 2027 general election, which is coming up very soon. Accordingly, resolved to 1, mandate the Committee on Electoral Matters to, among other things, with the relevant stakeholders, carry out on-the-spot assessment of the affected communities as well as conduct an investigative hearing with the view to unraveling the circumstances surrounding the allegations and to make appropriate recommendations to the Senate on the way forward. And 2, to also mandate the Committee on Electoral Matters to of delineating interstate and intrastate boundaries in order to avert the repeat of the unnecessary conflicts and conflagrations witnessed in the area between 1997 and 2003. I so move, Mr. President.
Senator Suleiman Sadiq, can we use a second?
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I am Sadiq Suleiman Umar. I represent Kwara North in the Senate. Mr. President, I rise to second the motion on the delineation exercise embarked upon by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Warri Federal Constituency, Delta State. The need for urgent intervention to prevent imminent political crisis are so second.
Any contribution? Senator Joel Thomas.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Joel Thomas. I represent the good people of Delta South Natural District. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the motion before us is in respect of my constituency, my natural district, and I'm very, very much familiar with the issues in that place. However, before I comment, I want to refer us to Section 53 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 that gives the INEC the power to carry out delineation exercise. I refer you to Section 158, the independence of the Independent National Electoral Commission, and I also refer you to Part 1, third schedule of the 1999 Constitution. Ordinarily, a matter like this is not a matter for the National Assembly. Number one, because the independence of the Independent National Commission dispute with that exercise. I think that the proper place to go is to go to the court and find an arbitration of the matter. However, having said that, Mr. President, I want also to inform this distinguished chamber that this matter is already before the Federal High Court in Warri, Federal High Court suit number FHC
WR/CS37225, a group of people have taken INEC to court in respect of the outcome of the delineation. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I think that this matter should be rested and allow due process to continue in the courts. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Ede Dafinone.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, Senator Ede Dafinone representing Delta Central. Mr. President, my colleague, Senator Joel Noakwa Thomas, has raised the issue of the independence of INEC and, of course, the danger of this House interfering or undermining the work of INEC. But I would like to go a few paces further, sir. INEC's delineation exercises are often politically sensitive, and this is no exception. A legislative investigation, especially one potentially perceived as partisan or localized, stands the risk of eroding public confidence in the neutrality of both INEC and the National Assembly by the Senate and the Delta State Inter-Party Advisory Council. The legislature should act as a stabilizer, not as an escalator, especially in sensitive local labor, sir. This issue of delineation in this constituency is over 12 years old. There have been...
you have 1 minute remaining.
There have been various attempts to... The court ruled that INEC should go ahead with the delineation. On conclusion of that, attempts have been made to stop the release of the report, and a further attempt was made at the Abuja High Court to stop the Abuja High Court from hearing, to make the Abuja High Court stop INEC from the exercise again. At that court, it was thrown out that this was an attempt by the plaintiff to have this matter
the time is off.
Heard again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's go to the prayers. Prayer 1, mandate the committee on electoral matters. Electoral matters, you brought the motion. There should be some, you need to, I don't know. Leader, can you advise?
I thought you wanted clarification from
I thank you, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues that surround this motion. To begin with, for fairness, I believe this matter should be referred to the Senate Committee on Special Duties.
And probably I think there's a state and local government.
Yeah, state and local government.
And then, of course, and then we'll add judiciary to it.
Yes, and having judiciary. And having said that, Mr. President, we also should not lose sight of the point made by distinguished Senator Joel Onowakbo that this matter is before the court. So part of the terms of reference of this committee should also be to ascertain whether the status, of the, so if it is true that it's before the court or not. But involving also the Committee on Judiciary, I believe is
we'll have the right thing. That. Thank you very much. Yes, so anybody who is bringing, somebody should bring additional prayer to make this adjustment.
The President for recognizing me again. This matter is very known to some of us that have been in this National Assembly for some times. And this is a very sensitive, very, very sensitive matter. I was in Wari, the city of Wari, in September. And I took time to speak to people from both divides.
Sorry, Senator Ningi, you are a ranking senator. I don't want to cut you. Can you couch prayers to assuage what you are talking about? Let's have prayers.
I'm coming with because there are two points of law.
one matter is in court, can the National Assembly not be able to also discuss it and investigate it? That is the point I was trying to.
We want to have a win-win situation here. Let's couch prayer, that will put all things together to solve this issue. Because somebody will now ask, where is the court order? Where is the proof that this matter is in court?
That is why.
So what I'm trying to say is that you help us, together with the leader. Let's couch a prayer that will allow all those interested so that they can all be comfortable that justice will be served. To look at, investigate, and then report back to us. It won't be the final anyway.
No, I thought if you look at the prayer, prayer one, rather than say electoral matters, because prayer one, rather than by one committee, it should be by joint committee on state and local government, judiciary, and
INEC. It doesn't matter having these two other committees balance
special duties.
Even though you see, you shouldn't have brought the motion in the first place. You should have asked someone to bring the motion, not you. You cannot be a judge in your own case. Anyway, no problem. No problem. You can remain. We'll bring two other committees to join.
Yes.
The judiciary now will bring the lead committee.
The reference, even from the villa, was made to the committee. No, I'm saying that is that document, so it's not a hidden document to the Senate. Apart from that, let me clear, as Ningi said, that was why we said the boundary commission
is somebody that is guiding this motion from what he has said.
No, he's an interested party.
No, don't talk. You don't.
He's an interested party.
Protected.
In that case, an interested party should also not be part of it.
Order. Senator Joel. Senator Joel.
Allow the Senate to discuss
Senator Joel.
This is Nigeria. We are not talking about
Senator Joel.
Why should you say so?
Then why are you saying that I think your committee is interested?
On electoral matters, judiciary, states and local government, to, among other things, undertake an exhaustive investigation inquiry into the delineation exercise through as conduct an investigating hearing with a view to revealing the circumstances surrounding the allegation and make appropriate recommendation to the Senate on the way forward. Full stop.
Seconder. Okay, leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, in seconding this motion, let me just say that the Senate Committee on Special Duties was omitted. That should be included, and also the Senate Committee on Public Petitions, because this is actually a petition. I thought it was sent to the Committee on INEC. So that would just be my addition, and I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. I don't think the second prayer is no longer necessary. It's no longer necessary. So the committee has 4 weeks to submit a report, and the lead committee in this case shall be the Judiciary Committee. So you have INEC, Judiciary, Special Duties, Public Petitions, the state and local government. So thank you very much. I'm sure we'll be able to deal with the matter, and that's the end of it. The report will still be submitted to us for further, scrutiny and then approval. Leader of Senate, can you please move for the adjournment of this August Senate till tomorrow?
Thank you, Mr. President, and very distinguished colleagues. Having concluded the items on the proceedings for today, I rise to move that the Senate do now adjourn till Thursday, the 13th day of November 2025 at 11 a.m. prompt. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we adjourn the House having exhausted all the items on the agenda today till tomorrow, Thursday, 13th of November 2025. I so second.
Chairman, appreciate what? Oh, sorry. Before we put the question, there is a message that we want to pass to you. So.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, just to inform that once you put the question, Mr. President, there will be the need for us to go into a quick executive session before we commence the procession. Thank you so much.
Before I put the question, what he wants to, just to emphasize on what he said, is that when we vote for adjournment, please don't go. Just relax for 5 minutes. There's a message to be put across to you in a closed session. All of that can go. Then after that, then the procession will now leave the chambers. Those in favor that this is stand adjourned till tomorrow by 11 p.m. a.m. prompt, as moved by the leader, seconded by Manula. Please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate is hereby adjourned till Thursday, the 13th day of November 2025 by 11 a.m. prompt.
Then close session.